Welcome to chocolate cupcakes with chocolate fudge and raspberry cream cheese icing with my helper Laura again. This was her idea originally to do, so she found the recipe online for raspberry cream cheese icing, and she forgot to mention that it needed to be whipped, so I didn't get my mixer out right away, but you'll see I do grab it later on to finish up. The chocolate cupcakes couldn't be easier. We whisked together 1 cup of almond milk, 1/3 a cup of oil, 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, as well as the mix. And we chose to do cupcakes. Unfortunately, I overfilled them a small amount, so they came out flat on top. They were still delicious and cooked the full way through. However, it does change the shape of the cupcake. If you're looking for the classic shape, you do want to be careful not to overfill your cupcake holes. So we then put them in the oven and got started on the rest of the icing. So for that, we needed to mix together the chocolate fudge, which is another Epicure mix. And it is done in a pot. You whisk the mix with 1 cup of whipping cream, bring to a boil, reduce, and keep it heating until it is to the consistency you want. For the cream cheese icing, as I said, this was a recipe my sister found online. It did call for fresh raspberries, but as it's winter in Calgary, we didn't have any, so we just used frozen raspberries that I had in the fridge, and it worked very well. So we got started on that, mixing together everything. Laura's not too much of a baker, so I did have to give her a few tips and warm up the butter for her and the cream cheese mix. And then of course we had started by mixing it by hand because I didn't see the recipe and somebody forgot to tell me it needed to be whipped. So after we played with that for a while, and after she informed me it needed to be whipped, we figured it out and I pulled out the mixer. I'm not going to make you watch us whisk it by hand for a while. I'm just going to skip ahead to the part where we pull out the mixer. For the cream cheese icing, you can switch up the thickness of the icing by adding more or less sugar. We probably went with a medium amount. If I were to do it again, I might add a little bit more just to get a stiffer icing. Even after having it in the fridge, it just didn't quite hold its shape as much as I was hoping for. We used a piping bag just to make it a lot easier to get it onto the cupcakes, and that worked really well. Once they were done and ready to come out of the oven, we were able to put some chocolate on and add the raspberry icing. As you can see, it wasn't quite solid enough the first time around, so we ate them. They were delicious, and then tried again later. You can see here it was a much better consistency. I hope if you try these, you enjoy them as much as we did.